early Monday afternoon and I have gotten some work done this morning, which I'm super stoked about, but I am about to make a chicken bone broth. Now, I do not normally cook in the daytime from Monday through to Friday because I've usually got to work and I'm working because I have to tick off that to-do list. But today I am making a chicken bone broth because my husband's really sick. Now, for those of you who do not know, he has a chronic illness. It's an autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis. He was diagnosed with it when he was 21, so he's had it for a really long time. He is 27 now, so he has been diagnosed with this disease for 6 years. And for those of you who do not know much about it, it is similar to Crohn's disease. It is inflammation of the bowel, and basically it can't be cured, and it's meant to be managed by medicine every day. I won't go into the full story now because I would love to in the future do a video with him and share more about this, particularly if you are going through a chronic illness or an autoimmune disease like this, to encourage you, or if your partner or your husband or significant other is going through something like this, because for me it is very difficult to see my husband go through this. And if you're in my shoes, for example, you're the wife and your husband's going through this, you will know just how difficult that is. And I think it is such a unique circumstance and it can be really lonely. Actually, I'm not going to cry, you guys. Try not to cry. I was watching a video last night that a friend showed us, and it was a lady from Bethel. I'm trying to hold the camera steady. A lady from Bethel who was sharing about a chronic illness that she had and a song that she had written that sort of came in a really dark time of that for her. And she said it can be really, really lonely. And it just hit the nail on the head for me because that's exactly what it feels like. I know it feels like that for him. It feels lonely for him because it's like, who understands? You don't really understand unless you're going through it. And then for me as his wife going, this feels really lonely. Like, how do I help you? How do I support you? And trying everything that you can, and praying and committing it to God and trusting in God, even when it's really, really hard and circumstances are tough. So at the moment, Brad has had a very, very, very severe flare up. He has actually had inflammation for nearly a year, and it just, anyway, I don't want to make you guys get stressed out or worried if you have this disease or know someone who does, but it can be very serious like this. So he's had inflammation for a year and has been on different trials of medicine. Before this, he was on a medicine for years and it kept it under control, I guess, but then the flare-up came back really, really badly, and he had to try different medicines. So over the last year, his doctor, who is incredible, she's an amazing specialist, has taken him through a few different medicines, trying to figure out one that will work for him, but his body hasn't worked, like the medicine hasn't worked with his body for any of these medicines that we've been trying over the last year, and it sucks. I'm just going to say it sucks. It is so hard. It's so hard to see him go through this. It's hard to not have answers. It's you don't know why someone has to go through this sort of thing, someone you love, someone who's an incredible person, and ask God these questions all the time. But we also trust God and we know he is good, and we know that in his timing, Brad will be healed, whatever that looks like. But yes, if you're going through this, I just want you to know you're not alone, and there's someone else here, wherever we are in the world, going through this too. And I want to open up and share a little bit of our journey, and obviously I'm not going to share everything because I think Brad should share that, but maybe things from my perspective and how I'm trying to help him and trying to stay sane and also trust God in the process. We get a lot of questions about what Brad eats, and basically at home we eat a paleo diet, and Brad tries to stick to it as much as he can whenever we're out. So that means no dairy, it's gluten-free, grain-free, and also refined sugar-free. And there are a few other things as well, like soy that you can't have either. But we stick to that because, and he really does stick to it, because those sort of things are inflammatory for the body, and because he has inflammation, we don't want to further irritate that with things that could be inflammatory. particularly things like grains and dairy. So that is why today I am cooking a chicken bone broth. I've done this before and I didn't do it very well, so hopefully I do a better job of it today. No judging down in the comments, but I'd love to hear your tips on making an amazing bone broth if you have some good recipes. But this is something that is really nourishing for the gut, and it's something that is easy to digest. So that's why I'm going to make it for him so he can have it tonight when he gets home from work. I'm going to be using a recipe from Danielle Walker. She is an amazing lady who I've followed on Instagram for ages, and I've got some of her cookbooks as well, and she shares recipes for the paleo diet. She herself went through, or she has ulcerative colitis and has gone through some severe flare-ups, so has shared and continues to share her tips and honesty and just real life around that, which is incredible and really encouraging. I'm going to be using my slow cooker, and then at the end I'm going to add some of this natural gelatin into it because gelatin is really good for the gut, but we will do that later. I've just realized that I don't have celery, so I'm going to pop to the shops, grab some celery and get to it. Just got back from the shops. I thought I'll show you what I got. I obviously got the celery, which I'll use in the bone broth. I got some parsley as well because I realized I didn't have this at home, and that goes in the bone broth as well just to make it extra tasty. And I also picked up some good old kombucha, which is on special. It's like $1 off. It's still super expensive, but it's got probiotics in it, which is good for your gut as well. I've started by roasting the chicken, so that is in the oven, and while that has been happening, I have prepared everything else. Here, as you can see, I've got all of this here, which is diced carrot, diced celery, roughly cut brown onion, and also some smashed garlic. I've got some apple cider vinegar, which I'll add into it, salt and pepper, and also a couple of bay leaves for extra flavor. So I'm going to put all of this in here now, and then when the chicken's ready, I will add it to it and add 12 cups of water and then turn it on. And now we basically just leave it to sit and simmer away for probably the next 6 hours. I've got it on high now, and then I'll put it on low and probably just get it to go for another 8 or so hours or through the night. And we will have a beautiful, delicious bone broth after that. I'll add in the parsley at the very end in the last 30 minutes so it doesn't go bad before then. I hope you found it interesting to hear a little bit more about the real life of our lives, honestly. And I want to remind you guys, if you're watching this, that life on social media or life on Instagram or the life we see in pictures, that's not the full picture. People are going through tough things that we may not ever know. That could be our friends, it could be strangers on the internet. There's always more going on behind the scenes. And something that I have really learned in supporting Brad through what has been a very difficult time for us is to be mindful and considerate and compassionate of other people, and to not just draw conclusions about people or why they do things the way that they do, but try to understand maybe there's something else going on there. And it's just made me think how I can reach out and care for other people as well. So I hope maybe that is a reminder for you too. But also I want to say, if you are going through sickness or someone you love is dealing with sickness and you're supporting them, I want you to know that you are loved, you are seen. I just want to give you a big hug, honestly. It would be a hug as warm as my cup of tea. It's actually really hot today outside, but I'm drinking tea. You know how it is. But I just want to say, you are not alone. You're not. God sees you. God loves you. I can say all of these encouraging words, but the most important thing and the most helpful and valuable thing for us is our relationship with God. That has been God is everything. God is our rock through these difficult times. And I want to encourage you, maybe you're not a Christian, maybe you don't believe in God, but I believe in Jesus, and I believe that he died for me and he rose again so that I could have eternal life with him. And I want to encourage you that if that is not something that is a part of your life and you do not have a faith and you're going, what is this whole Christian thing? I encourage you to explore more about Jesus, because for us, as we go through this time, I simply cannot even imagine life without God. I cannot even fathom it. God provides so much comfort to us and so much peace, even in the midst of a circumstance that is kind of anything but peaceful or easy. It's actually super challenging, but God provides peace in the midst of that circumstance. So I hope that that would encourage you. I hope that you would be encouraged to look to God, to find comfort in him. I'd love to get to know you more. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about in this video, comment down below this video and ask away. Or if you or someone you know is going through a significant health challenge, maybe it is something like an autoimmune disease or another chronic illness or anything else, please comment down below. You don't have to tell me what that is, but I would just love to pray for you and support you and encourage you in this difficult time. And I want you to know that you are not alone. If you like this style of video, sharing the everyday behind the scenes stuff, make sure you tell me down below. I love getting your comments and I love replying to you. And give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time.